I'm going to give my presentation in English, but my slides are in French, so hopefully it'll be a combination that everyone can follow. I'm going to talk about mainly about a mobile phone app that we've developed at the McGill University Health Center. This slide here shows the three people who are leading this project. So there's myself on the right. There's Dr. Tarek Hijal, who is a radiation oncologist at the MUHC in the center, with another famous character. And Laurie Hendren, Laurie is a professor of computer science at McGill, but she's also she's also a patient, a breast cancer patient at McGill. And this is actually a picture of her radiotherapy treatment plan. So it's the three of us who are leading it, but this project is made up of a lot of people. We call ourselves the Health Informatics Group, and we're composed of the three leaders and a large number of students at McGill, and two full-time computer programmers who have recently joined us. One of them is Robert Maglieri, who is here in the audience today. The other is Akeem Joseph, the guy without the hat, but a lot of hair in the background here. So what are we trying to do? We are trying to use data to improve the experiences and the outcomes of patients in oncology. And we're starting with radiation oncology, where we work. And by data, we mean the data that we are collecting in our electronic medical records about those patients. So how do we do this? Well, we ask the patient. And this is something that has been really important in our work, is that this work is patient-driven from the very start and patient-led. Laurie Hendren, who is a patient, is part of our team and has been driving this from the start, and that has made a huge difference. And we asked Laurie, how can we make a difference for patients? And she identified two things. One, she said that waiting is painful. I think we can all identify with that. Going to the emergency is painful, but also waiting for radiotherapy, whether it's daily radiotherapy appointments or waiting at home for your treatment plan to be prepared, is painful. And patients, Laurie told us, also want to get access to their data, their medical data, the data that we have in the hospital about them. So we tried to figure out how we could tackle these two things, and we identified developing a mobile phone app as something that might help solve this. Just to point out here something that Laurie pointed out to us, that in terms of data, the data that patients get is not necessarily the same data that physicians get. So this is data that, this is the results of Laurie's mammogram that she received that told her that she didn't have anything to worry about, but at the same time, the physician got something different. So the patient and the physician were not seeing the same data. And this is something Laurie very strongly feels that we should change. And this is here in Quebec. The other thing is, when we treat patients with radiotherapy, we don't necessarily show them what we are doing in terms of that treatment. We often think that it's too complex, that patients won't understand. But Laurie pointed out that, and this is something that's interesting after seeing Claudia's talk, for physiotherapy, just showing this picture where the radiation beams entered her body, she could show her physiotherapist which muscles had been affected by the radiation, something that is very simple for us as medical physicists who are preparing the radiation treatments to draw up on our screens, but for patients to notice, we're not providing that information. So this is something that we're trying to change. The other thing is for waiting times, we have developed a solution to estimate waiting times for patients using machine learning algorithms, using the data that we're gathering for patients at the hospital. And we have a system of kiosks and TV screens now set up at the Cedars Cancer Center to allow patients to check in, and we will also allow them to check in with their mobile phones. And when they check in, we give them an estimate of how long they're going to have to wait based on the data that we've already gathered in the system. And we're expanding this throughout the hospital. But I want to focus on the mobile phone app that we're developing. And as I said, we provide the estimate. It looks like this. But the app, when we sat down to figure out what we wanted to provide, we had a few challenges that we needed to address. First of all, it needed to be multimodality. It needed to work on Android and iPhone. And bear in mind that we were starting off with a very small budget here, so we needed a way to address this. It needed to be personalized. We didn't want to just give patients a dossier of information and say, here, go with this. We wanted them to give the information that is relevant to them. So a breast cancer patient should automatically get information about breast cancer. A prostate patient should get information about prostate cancer. It shouldn't be, here is information about cancer, go search your own thing for yourself. And then obviously it needs to be secure and confidential. That was discussed in detail today. We decided to try and design something that is generalizable. We feel that patients shouldn't have an app for radiation oncology, an app for cardiology, an app for diabetes or whatever. If they're coming to one hospital or even within Quebec, within our healthcare system, they should have one app for everything or one way of accessing all their data. So we've tried to make this generalizable from the start. And obviously it needs to be multilingual, French and English. And it is patient-centered. And by patient-centered, I don't mean that it is personalized to the patient. I mean that this project has been driven by patients. So we're putting things into the app that patients are identifying as being important to them. And that's something that we've been doing from the start. It's also a web portal as well. This is not yet ready, but we are planning to have a web portal on this also. Some questions that come up often are, will patients use this? So we did a survey, a relatively informal survey in our waiting room to see would patients use it. And this is what our patient population looks like. And overlaid on that, you can see the percentage who have smartphones. So often the comments we get that our patient population is older, they're not going to use their phones. Well, we see that 60% of our patients do use phones. It goes from 100% at the lower age groups up to about 30% in the 81 to 90-year-old age group. So even across the whole range of ages, we have a lot of people using their phones. Also, another concern that we often hear is that by providing patients with their data, they're going to be anxious about what they read in the data. They're not going to understand it, and it may cause some problems. Well, Laurie was quite strong in saying that, well, it should be up to the patient to decide if they want to get their data or not. If they don't want to get it, that should be their choice. So we asked patients in the survey, would you like to get all your personal health information? Would you like to get it immediately when it is available? And this includes lab test results, pathology results, things like that. Or would you like to get it after you've reviewed it with your physician? Or would you like to get it just need-to-know information only? And by need-to-know information, we mean the appointment schedule, education material, things like that. And you can see here that 56% of the patients would like to get all their data right away. So this was another powerful thing that has been driving this project. I want to give you guys a quick demo. I know I'm running out of time here. A quick demo of what our app looks like. So it is available online if anyone wants to go and have a look at it. This is the address, depdocs.com/opal. You can just look at our demo version for a fake patient. But essentially, this is what it looks like. We have a front screen that is like a Facebook feed, so it contains the most recent relevant information to the patient. So for example, we can send patients announcements if the department is going to be closed or if there's something happening at the hospital that they need to know about, or we can send them new educational material. The educational material is sent automatically, and it is based on the patient's disease and where they are in their treatment. And I'll just quickly go to the education material so I can show that. So this goes to an education material tab, and here we can send our educational material. We can allow patients to rate it, and patients can swipe through to see the various information that we are providing. And again, the information is provided when it is needed and it is relevant to the patient. So you can see here we provide information before treatment, during treatment, and after treatment, and it's published with a little alert in the app to tell patients when it arrives. This is the My Chart section of the app, which shows the appointment schedules. We allow patients to see their appointments and then a map of where they should go for their appointment in the hospital. When they check in, as I showed earlier, they can check in when they're in the vicinity of the hospital. The GPS will allow us to know whether they're there, and we give them the estimate of how long they're going to have to wait. Treatment planning, when radiotherapy treatment plan is being prepared and patients are at home waiting, often patients don't know what is happening, so they can log in and they can see at what stage their planning is in the process. Medical notes, we can provide access to documents that are in the medical record. such as consultation notes, follow-up notes, things like that. If I click on this, I can open it up. It'll go to the web browser right now, so I'm not going to bother opening these. Blood test results. So patients, if they want to have access to these, they can. Messages from the treating team. If the treating team wants to send their patient a particular message that is to the individual patient, they can do that. And then questionnaires, so we can get patient satisfaction questionnaires, get feedback from the patients, but also we can ask patients about their symptoms and allow them to tell us what is going on. And then in the general, we have general information about the hospital, parking, things like that, but also, for example, the directory for patients. So instead of having to go and look up a phone directory of their doctor or the people they want to contact, it's automatically personalized to show the patients what is relevant to them. So that is essentially where we are in the project. I have some other slides here, but I think if anyone has any questions, I can follow up. Thank you.